Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where y'all are at. Molina Mike here, and hopefully everyone's enjoying their day so far. Exciting stuff going on in the pool world, and the start of the Women's World 8-Ball Championship is upon us. So today's the day. I'll be sharing all the links on Windows Open, so make sure and stay tuned for that as soon as they go live and all that. But we got some special guests on for this one. It's the first time having either one of these two on. I'm excited for it. I like to think I know a little bit about pool stuff, not a whole lot, but just a little bit. And I'm completely clueless in this section. And so I'm excited to learn more and get introduced, as hopefully some of y'all will be as well. There's some great stories all over Q Sports, and whether you're talking about juniors, you're talking about professionals, it's so many things to dive into, and so I'm excited to bring these two on. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, and I made a terrible joke as I was coming on live, but I want to introduce Hydred and Henrik. Hopefully, I didn't butcher y'all's names too bad. How are you all today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hydred, how are you?
Doing well. I'm here in New York City, and in the community room here, so it's nice and quiet. Yeah, been excited to be on your show.
Well, thank you for making time. Start off with introducing yourselves. You two compete on the pair side of sport, and then maybe some of your accomplishments as well. Heinrich, if you don't mind, we'll start with Hydred. Ladies first.
Okay. Sure. My name is Hydred Goldberg. Kind of made a comeback. It's been a long while since I've shot pool competitively. In December, I took the 2024 WPA Hayball Parasport World Championship for the mixed. And then this year in June, we were in Brisbane, Australia, and I was defending my title, and I took the gold again. So
Nice.
that's where I'm at.
Congratulations, for sure. Heinrich?
Thank you.
Wow. Well, I started in the late 80s, shoot pool, and won the first European Championship in 93. Then I realized how old I am, But it's been a long journey. I've accumulated 6 WPA world titles over the years. I was the runner-up in the event that Hydred won just recently in Brisbane. And it's an interesting game. I have not dedicated much time to play hayball, so I consider myself a student in that fashion, but I still was able to reach the final, and that is good, even though it wasn't gold.
No, it's still awesome for sure, especially not playing that discipline, because it's a whole other animal in and of itself. Hydred, when you came back, was your expertise more on the American pool side of things, or did you have experience playing hayball when you made your return?
No, I guess the only thing I could relate it to was, of course, shooting 8-ball.
Yeah.
And really, because it is, tighter pockets, so it's like, I call it being on a baby snooker table. But these Joy billiard tables, they are they're 9-footers, 9 by 4.5, but with the rounded pockets and technically another beast, like you were saying, just another animal. So now, of course, more technical stuff.
I know Heinrich's representing Sweden, I can tell by the accent, but when I look over and saw your name on a bracket before Hydred, it says USA, but the audio is telling me otherwise. So help me understand here.
I'm full Filipino, born and raised in London, England. And now I've spent more than half my life here in America. I recently became a citizen a couple years back. So I hold both a dual citizenship, both English and American.
What's it been like for you? And I'll ask Heinrich this because I saw him competing in the Rio. But what's it been like for you, kind of getting more on more of the spotlight, more of the stage in terms of Q Sports over the last, let's say, 18 months compared to years past? I mean, I know you've had a lot of history of competing, but it seems like there's been more of a resurgence on the pair side of things, being paired with like traditional tournaments.
You go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah. Well, I am been working together with Predator for a long time, and I think that they are so involved in reaching out to everybody, which includes the parasport community, and that's how they set up the exhibition match we did in Vegas alongside the pros there. And also, so many things happening in the WPA. We formed a parasport division. So, and with the task of creating world ranking, annual world championships, and a lot of stuff. So the timing is great. There's so many great things going on right now in the pole world. So, and we're part of that. And I'm really going to try my best to contribute as much as I can with everything that I know about this game.
Well, we know Predators getting involved in a lot of different things, but were you like surprised to maybe see their enthusiasm or their support with you in this regard?
No, I've been working with them since 2010. So, but it really has escalated, and it's just such a huge, untapped target group, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you got about 1.3 billion people on the planet with a disability, and like 250 million people with a physical impairment. So it's really a huge, untapped target group, and it's a great sport. It's a sport that everybody can enjoy, and also you can really reach a very high level even if you're playing from a seated position. So I mean, it's a fantastic sport.
What about for you, Hydred? What's it been like for you from seeing Predator kind of get re-involved into the pair side of things along with the WPA and their events?
That's all right. I'll say, as a recent sponsored team member with Predator, it's I'd say another level of support and exposure for the parasite. People with different disabilities now being part of what we've always known to be more able-bodied people in the game. So I've got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement for what's to come. Also, I'm trying to encourage more women players, wheelchair players, to come forward and and get into this sport. Like Henrik said, there's you've got physical activity. There's a lot of hand-eye coordination. Just even for everybody. So it's great.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So
What are some things that maybe the average pool fan doesn't get to see in terms of like maybe y'all's preparation or maybe some challenges you all face outside of the obvious of being in a wheelchair versus an able-bodied person? Maybe just kind of give us some insight as to into that, Heinrich, if you can.
Well, I mean, if you sit down in a wheelchair and shoot pool, you're gonna get one experience. But living in a wheelchair, most of the people with spinal cord injuries are dealing with pain, something you need to mentally block out, which really consumes a lot of energy mentally. Balance is poor. You don't get the overview. Every time you jack up, you're going to make a jump shot. You're going to curve, whatever. That's is twice as hard. So, and especially, I mean, the biggest problem of shooting from the seated position is not being able to use the center of the table. And that's where you want to be constantly as an able-bodied player. So every time, so many long shots we need to use if we try to avoid the rest. So it really is a different game. And I think it hits hard on the lowest level of play. I can play an entire match without missing anything, but that is my A game. So my B game is not as close to what Gorst or Filler or anybody else are producing.
It's a great point because it really does go against like the way we look at it traditionally, where you want to be center table to allow yourself the most options. Where I didn't even think about that. I mean, just those kind of challenges, and that's what I mean. Like I'm completely clueless in this regard, but it's such a great point to hit. How do you like physically? Let me ask you this: how long does a match typically last? Let's say if I'm racing to, let's say 9 in 8 ball, because the reason why I'm asking is, man, I'll take like a 3-hour flight and my back is just knotting up, and I'm uncomfortable from sitting down. So I can only imagine, the issues that you have from being in that position for all day long, really.
That's a good point. Yeah, because a lot of us wheelie people or who use a wheelchair permanently do experience a lot of pain. For myself, fortunately, I don't. But your body does tire out. The way I shoot, I don't typically shoot the way most wheelchair shooters shoot, which is more sidearm, kind of like Keith McCready or something.
Yeah. You're going.
I have more an underarm and a tucked back elbow. I think Henrik also has a little bit of a tucked back elbow too. So yeah, there's more pressure on the shoulders and stuff. But I know Henrik doesn't really use the bridge much. I think he's better position by. But I always, especially if I'm playing 9-ball, 10-ball, obviously I want to stay somewhere in the middle, more access to the ball. So I'll be using a lot of a telescopic bridge, they call it. So it's a rake or a bridge that you can actually extend out to about 8 feet. So if I have to hit a ball that's all the way across the length of a full 9-footer, I can reach it, and then I've got an extension that's about 12 inches, which will be able to get me there. So someone locks me up on that end. Otherwise, yeah, you got to get really proficient with rail shots, long shots, as Henrik mentioned. Yeah.
You guys have been seeing. Oh, go ahead, Henrik. Go ahead.
I think a good investment for those who can is to be ambidextrous and use your left hand. That will give you more area on the table. So I would advise anybody who starts to shoot from the seated position right now to dedicate some time to play with both hands. That will speed up your game. But if I understood your question about how long a game takes approximately, I think both me and Hydred are kind of rapid players. Yeah, of course it takes a little bit more time because you don't have the overview. So you need to go back and forth just to understand what the tables looks like. So that might add some extra time. But
that's just stuff we take for granted, because we're just so used to you looking and you take for granted that view that you have. So then it's like you can analyze quickly where you guys are having to go and give that an extra look. Completely makes sense for sure. If you don't mind me asking, Heinrich, how long have you been in a wheelchair? Were you born this way, or was there like an accident, or and if I'm getting too personal, by all means, don't
no
say,
problem at all.
Yeah.
Nothing is sensitive when it comes to me. You can ask me anything.
All right.
But I was born with a benign tumor in my spine, which grows when you're a child. So I got to be a couple of months before my legs stopped working. And this was back in the 70s, and they didn't have the equipment they got now. So the damage was done. So I spent my entire life in a seated position. Yeah.
Hydred?
Yeah. I got into a car accident 5 days after my 18th birthday in Northern California. So I'm paralyzed from the waist down. Yeah. And this, it will be 33 years this August.
You're not that old.
I'm doing math in my head. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Really?
What's pool been for you then, Hydred, as you made that transition from that point in your life?
That's a good loaded question, but pool for me was a release, you know. I guess it was hard for me to integrate socially. You know, you're dealing with a lot of insecurities, you know, because you're comparing yourself. I was 18 at the time, so
Yeah.
all of my friends are like getting into whatever they're getting into, trade or even or college, and here I was just kind of just learning how to roll over on my elbows and stuff. So there's a lot of insecurities at that age. So yeah, you know, things have changed, and it worked out that pool for me became like a release. So kind of helped out. I went back to school, and I would use it as a reward system, really. Yeah.
I can imagine, because I know for me it's been therapeutic at times throughout my life, and
Mm,
that's just with
yeah.
like a normal life, right? And but it's always
Yeah.
been like the sense of like therapy and escape for me, because
Mhm.
if I'm having a great day, I want to go celebrate by hitting some ball. If I'm having a terrible day, I want to just go get lost on the pool table and just forget about life's problems. But like I
Mhm.
can only imagine that there's so many um other sides of that mentally to like overcome when you're at that age and you see everyone and they're, you know, you at 18 you got the whole world ahead of you and you think you got the whole world figured out, and you're having to start all over again basically.
That yeah, you're on point. That's exactly how it felt. Like, am I going to date again? Am I going to have a family? Am I going to,
Yeah.
you know, can I work? Simply, can I get to work? So it was yeah, your life is muddled. Your head's all kind of you're
Yeah.
starting over, and you're like, where the hell do I go from here?
Were you a
Um,
pool player prior to your car accident, or was this
you
all
know
after?
what? I was not. This was all after. It was all after the accident. I
Yeah.
just found that a lot of it was nice. It was I looked at it as like light physical activity, moving around. I just wanted this ball from, you know, to go from here to there, and then I wanted to start, you know, pocketing and doing a little bit more, you know,
that's
intricate
that's
stuff. So it was like all experimental, you know, it's nice.
that's so
And I
awesome.
still use that today. I love to experiment still today.
Yeah, always going to be a student of the game, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Heinrich, what was it like in Europe
Mhm.
though, on the pair side of things? Is you lived in this world since you were growing up, and so what was it like in terms of being able to compete, or even just get introduced, or even just get opportunities at a club or whatever to hit balls and to play?
Well, I've been just uh, my entire life. I've been doing nothing small. It's always all or nothing kind of guy,
I
And it
love it.
started off me being a rock and roll star. That was my goal in life. Just playing the guitar since I was 6. And you want to be the rock and roll myth, so of course you got to shoot pool and play, drink Jack Daniels. And I
There
just
you
stumbled
go.
across a very prominent pole figure, and he got me involved, and all of a sudden I was hooked. But till this day, I am the only player in a wheelchair in Sweden that plays on an elite level at all. So I've been doing nothing but playing the able bodies my entire life, and I'm playing a lot of tournaments, like US Open and the Kremlin Cup and whatever. I've been just
So
promoting parasport.
you're playing, but you're playing with able-bodied players when you're competing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Except for the European Championships, World Championships, the Hayball event we did, that was a parasport event. But
Yeah.
apart from those, I've been my entire life, I've been only playing the able bodies. Yeah.
Do you like what's it like what's the experience like from your competitors when they see you, come in with your wheelchair? Are they giving you like the same respect and appreciation and courtesy? You mentioned some of the things in terms of like having to analyze a table differently, and maybe that takes a little bit more time. Have you faced challenges like in that regard from maybe competing against able-bodied players?
I think it turned, I mean, it switched. It started off with people being a little bit extra courteous and helping out and wrecking balls and stuff like that. But as
Yeah.
soon as I started to kick ass, that changed. And they trying the hardest to make life difficult for me. So
Yeah.
they don't care anymore. And I think that is sort of, I like that equality thing of it all, you know.
Like, you start beating me, I'm throwing rocks on the floor, whatever I got to do to slow you down, my man. You know.
Yeah. No, but I think, you know, it's I really enjoy the pro community. We've been playing the European Championships integrated with the able bodies since 1999. So I've been around everybody from fillers to oceans to you name it.
Yeah.
And being a part of that community, it's very much respect, and they understand how difficult it is shooting from a seated position. So I really, it's really very respectful in that community. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear, and I wouldn't expect anything less from those type of guys, and for sure. But man, I'm getting this whole new like insight as you're speaking, so it's all mind blowing to me. Hydred, how about you? As you came back into playing pool, what was that experience like for you? Like, were you just playing only in para divisions, or were you playing in open divisions like Heinrich? What was your experience like?
Yeah, mostly I always I played able-bodied people. So in the early 2000s, did turn semi-pro, and was in qualifying events for more of the bigger WPBA events. So there is the National Wheelchair Pool Players Association that I played in too, but that was pretty much the only time that I ever played other wheelchair players, mostly people who were standing. Plus, I didn't really have many friends that were in wheelchairs in Vallejo, where I was living for a bit, and then San Diego too. So yeah,
I
mostly able-bodied people.
I heard from a little birdie in San Diego that you got a lot going on. Like, you do makeup and you do all kinds of stuff, Hydred.
Anybody we know?
Yeah, I think you might. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was a professional makeup artist, and was into prosthetics and moulage, which would assimilate things like wounds, um, more medical style
Yeah.
prosthetic stuff. And I too, like Henrik, I play I play classical guitar. But I have not put in the time as much as I have with the makeup or with pool. I think pool has been my most. It's just always been there through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike, you should check out her paintings. I mean, she's a fantastic painter.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was driving home and I was talking with Lila, and she was like mentioning all these things of, oh, she does this and that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I had no clue, and it was like a long list of things she was mentioning as well. So it made me more excited for the interview than I already was. Heinrich, what's your day job like? Heinrich, what are you doing in your day to day? I know you mentioned guitar, but what's paying the bills?
I educate in the medical field, physiotherapists and doctors, and I also empower people with disabilities. So I have a 13-week course for people who are living lives in wheelchair, how to just go on with your life, how to take care of your home and family, and drive a car and apply for a job, and everything that is just life. That is what I empower people with in a program that I do. So that is my profession.
How can people find out more information about that, Heinrich?
Well, right now that we're being Swedish, we have a website that sort of explains the mythology and everything that we do there. But it's been it's rewarding. I mean, I acquired skills in the 70s and 80s when Sweden was not with all the possibilities we have right now. So I'm old school, and I'm teaching those skills to people. And it really is rewarding. I'm living the life to its fullest with my kids and my house and traveling a lot. And, I live a really high quality life. And if I can translate that into things that can empower other people, more power.
Well, I mean, you went a really difficult road just by default because there's no resources compared to the way that there is now. And what's even cooler is that now you're using your experience to then educate and help support other people, which is just awesome. I mean, and I feel like it is kind of a responsibility, but most people aren't like that. They just want to be content with their own individual self and, focus on number one, and that's it. So I love hearing that about you.
Yeah. And one of the things that I do when I educate in the medical field is just simply to normalize my target group.
Yeah.
Because we're actually talking about normal people who, for some reason, end up in a wheelchair. And with everything that is around today, all the old myths about not being smart enough, not being able to have a great sex life, all the kinds of things that people think about people with disability aren't true anymore. And we need to upgrade society and how we can be a resource in society. And Stephen Hawking wasn't too disabled to work.
Yeah. What was the reaction from your kids when you said, "Hey, Dad's going to Vegas to go play"? On a pretty
Can I
big
go?
stage out there.
Can I go? Please, Dad, can I go?
I bet. Yeah. I get that all the time, Heinrich. So believe me, I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, they follow me around sometimes. Me and Hydred were just in Romania where we have a project which is really, really cool. And they also paid for my kids to be there, which is a very good, what do you call it, normalization fact of me bringing the kids, just showing people that everything's available out there for you.
Yeah. And look, I mean, you all have these or people will have these stereotypes or these assumptions, but I feel like a big part of it is just lack of education, and just being ignorant to maybe some of the challenges or normal things that you guys and girls are going through. Yeah, I love hearing that though, man. And as the face, I mean, I don't say the face, but like as being one of the faces of doing pair sports in terms of Q sports, what's it been like from the community of other players in wheelchairs? Like, are you communicating and advocating and educating those type of players as well, or is it just strictly like people that are non-competing, I guess?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I've been teaching able-bodied players over the years, mainly. And every time we play Europeans, of course, there's exchange of knowledge and support. But really, we are working together, me and Hydred, to put together material which is mainly focusing on how to, in the most effective way, shoot pull from a seated position. And that's going to be interesting in developing that material.
Yeah.
What's that project like for you, Hydred?
So as mentioned before, we were so after Brisbane, Australia, we went to Bucharest, Romania. There was the championships there. It was the 9th edition for ASMIO, which I can't translate in Romanian, but it's a big competition with all parasport standing and seated people with disabilities playing this tournament. And there, as part of that time that we were there, we were able to meet with the mayor of Snagov, who has a billiards club that we have been setting our sights on, setting up I guess the start of a new federation for Romanian sports. There's a lot of European governments do tend to help with their, I guess, their athletes. We want to start one there. So how would you call it? It's like a pilot project for us. And then from there, we want to expand to perhaps other clubs in Romania and out towards Europe. That's sort of the big zoomed out goal.
Yeah, if I could add there.
Sure.
We are training handpicked players that are really prominent and turning them into teachers and trainers so that they demographically could cover most of Romania to really teach as many people as possible. And yeah, it's exciting.
I really wish I would have done a little bit of homework leading into this because I have no idea, and it's it's all just great stuff. Because and it's like I'm blown away because you guys already have a lot of challenges, and you guys are just adding more onto your plate. But that's just the type of people y'all are, which is great, and taking that on to further serve the community and to inspire, which is just awesome. As y'all go and compete and Hydra, I'll ask you first, like if you're playing, if let's say if you're playing in an able-bodied division, are you getting any flack or any issue from wheelchair players saying, "Oh, well, you ought to only be playing in para divisions"? Is there any kind of like resentment or issue in that regard?
That's a cool little inside thought there. I never thought of that. No, no. I think for the most part, there's encouragement and support to kind of come out from that area. So, I getting into the sport, I was sponsored by a wheelchair company called
Nice.
Colors Wheelchairs. And in the beginning, the reason why I became part of their team was because I was coming out of the wheelchair community into more mainstream. So I was modeling for an agency in San Francisco that was in Nordstrom's, Bon Marché in Washington, uh, yeah, TJ Maxx. This is kind of what I was doing. It was coming out of that world of just wheelchair
Yeah, you're transcending.
demographic.
You're going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
There we go. That's the perfect word for it. I was transcending. And so this is what we also want to do too, is just sort of normalize, make it so that people understand that, yeah, we just use different devices now to move around. So some use a cane, some use wheelchairs, scooters. Some people have, you know, um, limited abilities in different ways. So this is more just integrating the sport and just kind of compelling more people to find this as another outlet for sports.
What about you,
It's
Heinrich?
lovely.
No, I think most people really appreciate me when I'm playing all these tournaments, the able body events, just promoting pool. I don't enter with the expectations that I'm going to win anything, but whenever I do good, I played like the World Pool Series and I beat Eric Hjorlifson, and Ted Lerner made an interview. That was really well, many views. And, what I try to do is simply just to promote parasport. And Emily and Carl Boyce put me on the streaming table on the US Open against the Cash. And there was a lot of views, a lot of positive reactions. And and a guy in the comment field said, someone said that, wow, this guy plays like a real man. And the following comment was, well, or at least half a man. you know, you got to be able to laugh at things, because that's
Yeah,
sort of normalizing the whole thing.
yeah,
That's such a
exactly.
breath of fresh air to have that kind of perspective because
Sure.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's so easy to focus on the negative or on the destructive side of what the internet can bring and things like that. And so to be able to pull those positives and take it in stride is just a
Sure.
great outlook. And I can imagine at a certain point there's like this level of gratification when like you get the respect, because maybe they didn't know, but then they see you play and then they find out.
Yeah. And an interesting thing is when I teach, when I try to normalize my group, who I'm actually talking about is everybody. Because if you get old enough, you will acquire a disability. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I had this guy in America, he was using the term TAB, temporary able body, which is
Sure.
his concept was that you're born with need of help when you're a child, and then
Yeah.
you have this period in life where you're on your own and you're fine. And then when you get older, you're going to need help again.
It comes full
So
circle. Yeah.
yeah. So depending on if you're lucky, that temporary able body time is extended. But everybody eventually will end up with a disability. It's just a matter of time.
Massive insight there and completely inspiring for sure, Heinrich. So Hydred, help me out here. What's it been like in the
Mhm.
last couple of years as there's been more opportunities for y'all? I mentioned Heinrich and being in Vegas. I saw you play in some event, I think in LA and win it for Hayball, and then again now traveling the world. Like, what's it been like getting more of these opportunities to be able to compete and showcase your talent?
To be frank with you, this December 2024, and up until now, it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I went to Sweden for the Malmo Open, which is one of Heinrich's kind of more established tournaments out there. It's pretty prestigious. And for the first time, I got to play against European parasport players. And that, I mean, it's been amazing. I've been meeting new people, new friends, and just creating new connections. And I don't know, it's just motivating me. Something that was said earlier about this kind of personal gratification in shooting good pool, like when you're on and it feels great.
Yeah.
Kind of down, low key, kind of love it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, you should.
So it's a motivator. Yeah.
Well, because I feel like it's human instinct when if I were to see someone walking up with a wheelchair, and if all you've been around is able body, you probably just immediately write them off because that's just you're ignorant to what their level is, right? And then to get enlightened with what y'all can go and do is just awesome. I would love to see the look on people's faces when y'all are just running out on them,
Yeah.
and just competing. It's awesome to hear. So, what's the future like for y'all in terms of events? Is it strictly just Hayball? Is there a mix of American pool with that as well? Help me understand here a little bit.
Go for
Either
it,
one.
Henrik.
Well, I'm gonna really dedicate these last couple of years of really shooting as much as possible. I have the great support of Predator and my good friend Bruce Thayer, who is supporting me in the traveling. So I'm gonna do really give it my best. I need to win that 7th world title. I don't know why. I just have that as one of my goals, and also to break 100 run in straight pole. And I ran 97, which is a decent run in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But to do that 3 figures, that would be mind blowing, really, to achieve that in a wheelchair. So that's my goals, and I'm really looking forward with all the collaboration that we are doing. Me and Hydred, you're awesome, Hydred.
Like I love hearing that, and yeah, it's super inspiring, man. I can't stress that enough. What y'all are doing, and I was gonna ask you about the support you get, like, because I'd imagine traveling, and I know just from traveling in general is incredibly expensive and super difficult these days. And so as more opportunities come around, then there becomes more challenges. Is there any like federation support from you, Heinrich, out there in Europe, or is it just strictly like Predator or personal friends and sponsors and things like that?
It all depends. If I represent Sweden, like I do in the European Championships or the World Championships, then my federation usually are picking up the bills. But every time I play anything else, Whirlpool Series, US Open, whatever, it's my expense. So yeah.
See, that's crazy to me. You got so much grit, man. Like you're like, all right, I'll just go play the U.S. Open. Why not? And you go out there and give them hell. I love that. Hydra, what about you? Because I know you represent USA now. We've all heard over the years that American players have had getting support through their federation. What's support like? What's your system like for you?
So I do have Predator supporting me with my equipment, which has been amazing. I used to have like a kind of a Frankenstein set of hodgepodge things, but now with just sort of the new type of equipment advancements, I feel like my game has really gone up in a great way that I can feel it and I can see it in results. I've got that. I do have a sponsor with the Goldberg Foundation that helps me with a lot of the trips, and also with our recent one with the Hayball, the WPA Hayball Parasport. Joy Billiards had helped in sponsoring all of the players at these last two events. I mean, that's you don't hear about that kind of stuff. So trying to build up as much sponsorship in different ways and to get out there and kind of compete with the best, you know.
Yeah. Well,
That's
hopefully
the
we can
goal.
help kind of shine some light on what y'all are already doing, which is shining your best, which is amazing, man. I'm completely inspired by hearing this. I mean, Heinrich's talking about running 100 balls. I'm be lucky if I'm getting 35, you know. And so, but that's where you're setting your goal,
Hey.
and I love hearing that, man. It reminded me of like there's a few moments where I really get re-inspired and reinvigorated when it comes to covering pool. And one of them is with the juniors. And then this is like the next best thing, you know? And so where people just want to go and play, you know, you want to go and compete and you want to get opportunities and you're, you know, a hell of a player in your own right. It's just a matter of getting more shots at it, which is awesome. So what events are coming up for y'all and for the rest of the year? Are there any big majors that fans ought to be aware of?
Well, in Europe, we have two major parasport events coming up. And we're playing the next Pro Billiard mixed team thing alongside with the Able Body Pro events. Yeah, we're going to hang out, you and me and Earl and Mika at Amsterdam in a month or so.
Wait, so
Right.
you two are going to be teaming up against able-bodied players coming up in a big tournament pretty soon?
It's
We're a little bit hush hush about it. Can you tell?
It's all right. Nobody watches the show anyway, so it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, Predator are such a really great supportive of all the things that we do, and they are sponsoring the event that I do in Malmö, and we just proposed that could be a very good window for Parasport to shine if we team up, playing all the other mixed teams. So we'll see how that goes. Regardless, we are going to play the pro event. That goes
I know
the open event.
what team I'm rooting for now. I can guarantee you that. So, yeah. What about
Super,
you?
yeah.
What do you got coming up?
So okay, you know, the calendar for the rest of the year has been slightly topsy turvy with some new info about with the calendar. So my plan, you'd mentioned about Quincy, which is going on July 7th, right through the 12th. Unfortunately, I'll be missing that, the US Nationals, but more will be revealed because end of November we do have something coming up. It's still in the making. But
I don't want to reveal too much, even though I've been known to, you know, ask some questions from time to time. Heinrich, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say 2026 is probably going to be a very busy year. I know we're going to have at least 2 World Championships. We're going to have one in Hayball. Not decided yet whether or not that's going to take place in Asia or Europe, but and also a 10-ball World Championship is definitely on. So that's going to be great having 2 World Championships at the same year. It's been too long since we had an American Pool World Championship. It was 2017. So and before that, we used to have one annually, like a World Championship opportunity. So finally, a lot of things are happening right now.
What's it like for you, Heinrich? Just kind of being in this sport for so long, and you know, playing able-bodied players, and you know, playing a little bit of events here and there, but then to kind of see what the future's looking like for parasport going forward, man. Like, what's it like, kind of seeing a brighter light ahead of you?
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be able to contribute, and at the same time, I'm also contributing with putting a lot of demands on my target group. I'm a huge fan of equal treatment. I think that is the most dignified way of reaching out to this community, and that is how I also train trainers. That no special treatment here. We're talking about people, like this could be your best buddy that you're teaching right now. So, but in order to be instrumental and really to inspire my target group to think more of themselves, try to pull them out of this, the curse of low expectations that they live in usually.
Yeah.
So I hope that I'm going to do a good job together with Hydred and a bunch of people around the world, because we have a council representing two persons from each continent to do all the decision making. But I'm really excited. It's a fantastic sport, and I wish that you could install a pool table in every rehabilitation center connected to spinal cord surgery, because everybody can shoot pool. Even though you've just been through an accident, you can shoot some pool and get back with your life, get on with it.
There's so much there, but in terms of like the equal treatment, or you mean like in terms of like the normal interaction, like day-to-day stuff, or are you talking like in terms of like pay versus like able-bodied events? Like which road are you exactly referring to there? Just so I get a clear understanding.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody has a story,
Yeah.
You can go to any parent that has lost a child, and they would swap place with me any day. It's a lot of different things out there, and I'm not saying that living a life in a wheelchair is a picnic. It's not, but still, you got to get on with it. I mean, you got to enjoy life to its fullest. So, I just want to empower people to get on with it. Kind of.
Look, I love that mentality, man. No matter what life's gonna throw at you, you only got a minute to feel sorry, and then let's time to make the best of it.
Yeah.
So I try to tell my girls that all the time. I'm here for them, but at the same time, like no one's gonna come and save you. You gotta be willing to save yourself, and you gotta be willing to get up and keep on putting one foot in front of the other. As I make another terrible pun there. Okay. Anyway,
it's true.
yeah.
I love that song actually.
Yeah, but it's so important, and like I feel like it could easily be this excuse to be depressed or to feel down about yourself, but you guys have taken a completely different approach to it, to just not only have an amazing life, but then to go a step further and to inspire people. Like that's to be commended, and it's so admirable, that what y'all are doing. Yeah, I can't congratulate you enough on doing that.
I would encourage you and everybody else to use humor as a way to include people. Nothing is so sort of inclusive as humor.
Yeah.
So as long as you're laughing together and not laughing at somebody,
right?
Go on with that.
Right.
Well, it's like the words are coming out of my mouth, Heinrich, and then I'm like, oh man, come on.
Don't worry about it, man.
No, but y'all just have such a great attitude, and I can tell why y'all are successful in the things y'all are doing, because it's that mentality first and foremost. You guys have such a better outlook than I can name dozens of pro players, able-bodied players that I've met with, a completely different perspective than what y'all have, and it's super inspiring. Is there anything that the pool community and fans that you want to leave them with, or maybe how they can support what y'all are doing, or where they can watch you at and things like that?
You go first, Hydred.
This well, that's a good question, because I think most of
I know it's kind of on the spot.
It's been covered in this awesome podcast. I don't have any specific website to go to, but I think what I would like for most people to do is just kind of look out for this, wheelchair sports, or especially with Q sports. Come and support and check us out. It's kind of a new budding, I guess, re-emergence of pool playing from this perspective, even though it's been around for years. But We're looking at some bigger, more ways to include people in Q Sports, and that's really it. Just keep your eyes out for it.
Yeah. What about you, Heinrich?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I mean, if I can assist in any way, just reach out to me one way or another. I'm easy to find, I think, on the internet, and I will support you as much as I can, politically, or hopefully in the future with a website with more information and how to shoot this game effectively and everything that we have got rolling. But things are in the making, and it's really inspiring, and I think that the next year is going to just be awesome. And I hope that you and others will cover the progress that we are making, and along the way.
Look, 100%, I'm committed to it. You know, and I may not know what avenue to go down, but I'll get your info from Hydred, and then I'll be blowing you up. But whatever information you want to
Good.
share with me, or you feel like needs to be out there, we can leverage the page to help kind of spread the word for you all. Feel free, and it's a duty and an obligation and a responsibility. And so whatever I can do to kind of help out in that regard, count me in 1,000,000% and then some. So I love what y'all are doing, man. I had no clue like anything that was going on down here,
Yeah.
in this area of the game. And so I'm just excited to learn more. And whatever big events y'all have coming up, hit me up ahead of time. We'll get you back on. We'll preview it. We'll talk shop if we break down a bracket, whatever we can do, just like we do any other event. I mean, I'm breaking down the Women's World 8-Ball Championship daily here. And so, y'all deserve the same respect and attention like anybody else. So, yeah, I mean, just keep going, help.
Super.
The only thing that I would say
Yeah.
is post more, share more, all those things, because the more that we can, I feel like you become a fan of someone when you can identify with them and you know who they
Right.
are and you know their struggle. So the more insight that we as a pool fan community can get, the more we'll just be, there rooting for y'all and cheering you on.
Cool.
Thank you so
Well,
much, Mike.
Thanks a lot.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have y'all on again. Be paying attention to your phone whenever you see my name come up, and I can't wait to
For
do more.
sure.
So if
You
y'all
bet.
come back to Vegas in 26, I'll make sure and say hello and formally introduce myself. And I can't wait to go see y'all compete in the next couple of years for sure. So all the
Thanks a
best.
lot.
Thanks for your time, and we'll be talking again real soon.